going live. I'm just going to get myself set up here to make sure you can see my actual table. I think this water is in the way. I'm going to move that a bit. I'm just going to move that in here, and that hopefully will be clearer. So I've been working on some new characters, and I thought I would share my adventure with that. I sketched some little characters on my post-it notes. So this post-it note I decided would be just to carry around with me and to sketch. You would think a sketchbook would be a thing, but I just like that idea of being able to pull them straight out and then have them in front of me and put them up with little like what do you call them again, washi tape stickers, and just stick them up. So I sketched these, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually create paintings from these, but I thought it would be really cute to have these characters sitting kind of outdoors and playing or just talking to their little animal friends. And so a couple of days ago I decided to sit down and prep these papers and get them ready for painting these characters. So let me just make sure you can see this one. Yeah, you can. So I created these, and then I always have these illustrated characters in my head. They're really always cute, and they're always talking to a friend. And it's this thing I think recently I've been thinking about, which is connected to that idea of loneliness. And my characters a lot of the time are kind of play-like imaginary scenes where it's linked into children as well, and just thinking about their lives and their adventures and their imaginations, and about friendships, their relationships with their environment or with other characters, or just kind of speaking in kind of a muted way of conversation for them. So I've been seeing that more and more when I'm making these characters, and I'm spending the time thinking, who are they, you know, while I'm making them, and thinking what their names are, what are they doing, what are they thinking. So I started working with oils with these because I want to practice my oil painting more. So you can see these two characters here. I did this one first, which is like a boy. It's a stag. And originally I think it was going to be a girl. I don't know why. I just feel like this looks more like a girl. But yeah, it's supposed to be a boy because I was remembering the antlers. Well, some deers, I think the girls can have them. I need to do proper research on that. But then the frog as well. So I've not finished them. I did the first layer, so we'll see if I can actually work on these at some point. I don't want to start with this one because I have like my fox one that I haven't put the layers on, so I could start doing the fox one now and see where that goes. And at every point when I start working with these, I don't usually have a plan of colors or anything. The colors of their clothing might change, their backgrounds might change. I just want to start getting a feel for what I think the characters could be like. So sometimes I'll lean towards what the natural idea of them is, which is frogs are green, and then just seeing what kind of greens I can bring together. And the stags are kind of like a fawny color or browns. So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing here. So I'll put this aside, and while that's still drying, oh yeah, I wanted to say, I completely forgot. If this is your first time here, my name is Beatrice Ajayi, and I'm an artist, and I love to create lots of different kinds of artwork using different mediums. And today I'm going to be using water-soluble oil paints. So I've been using them for a little while, and they're a lot of fun. And so yeah, this is me kind of continuing on that path of learning about them, using them, creating really cute characters, which is one of the subjects that I cover. I cover different subjects. Today it's about these guys. So, and also what I've been using to try and get them to dry a lot quicker as well, I've been using this medium called quick drying medium for water mixable oils. I mean, the brand I'm using is Cobra, not sponsored, but it was the one that was kind of given to me as a suggestion by the lady when I went into the art shop some time ago. So that was what I started using. I'd actually been using a different brand before, which was the Daler Rowney ones. So I have those still here, as well as the Cobra ones as well. And and then with the pack, I got this medium, painting medium for water mixable oil color as well, which is like probably to thin it. And yeah, instead of using water all the time, because the water soluble aspect, the water is mainly for cleaning. You can mix it if you want a little into the paint, but it's mainly, I would say, being that other side of being able to clean your brushes without using the stronger solvents. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one aside for these two guys. I might come back to them. I just want them to be drying a little bit longer. So I have this. This one is kind of a sketch of this character. So they don't always look exactly like they do on the sketch, because as I start putting the colors in, it changes things. So that's a topic right there already. There's some artists, like I used to originally just work in black and white. I didn't used to like using color at all because I thought I wouldn't do it right. But it's all about the actual practicing to get that going. So yeah, so I used to draw in black and white, but so the sketches are the things that I love the most. That's why you could see, I mean, I love sketching. It was my first love, I'd say. I'd take a pencil and paper anywhere and I would paint. But starting to add color probably happened when I started using my digital, my iPad, and I was able to experiment with the color on that. And that was when I now started being more brave with my color use. So I'm gonna just get into it and see what comes out. I'd already started trying to put this red here, and I'm gonna keep referring back to my little sketch. I might go in and try and do the eyes. I didn't talk about how I prepped these papers as well. These are, I mean, this one actually is, I think, like a paper you can use, like the oil pads, like the paper pads, sketchbooks that you can use for oil painting. But if you had like a thick card, the way that you could prep it for oil painting, apart from putting like a layer of gesso first if you wanted as well, is you could use matte medium. So matte medium, I've basically put that over all of these papers. I sketched, actually, because these are older kind of like papers that I'd painted on before, so I'm trying to use them all up. So I'd kind of sketched with my Prismacolor this fox out. So those were the white lines. And then I'm now going in, and then I put a layer of the matte medium over that to seal that in. And then I'm now going to go over this with the oil paint. But you can do quite a few layers actually if you want to be sure, so that it kind of preps it for the oil. So the oils doesn't just kind of seep through the paper. So if you're not sure about it, you can use at least maybe 3 layers. So that's why I'm working in multiples, because I was waiting for different things to dry. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. If not, I'm going to wait forever for doing this. So I can come back later on and one is dried and I can work on it even more. So I think I'm going to put some black out as well. So I'm just going to go along and add to this character. I have an idea of what I think it will look like in my head, but I'm not really sure. So I'm just going to go, I think the eye is about here somewhere. So I'm very, what's the word? Laid back about how I'm using this. The dry medium, another way that I've been using it is the dry medium here. I use this kind of a dropper to take some out and then drop it on my actual palette, so that I don't have to be trying to pour it, because when you're pouring it, it kind of drips everywhere. So just take a certain amount into this dropper, and then I could drop it wherever I want to, and like a little drop. as much as I want, just to mix into the paint, not too much. So then I can just take a little bit and mix it in. I've gone in with the black here, which is quite a dark color. I was a bit braver with my oil paint yesterday, and not trying to think of it as oil paint, but possibly looking at it like if it was acrylic paint, because I use a lot of acrylic, and I'm trying to just be free with the oil paint. So I'm trying to think of it in my head like it's acrylic paint, then I'll be a lot freer. So I'm just looking around at what I can put in here. So if you've never used oil paint, this is probably the best kind to get, the water soluble one. Every medium has their strengths and weaknesses, and I would never ever say that one is better than the other. So it's not to trip yourself on that aspect that real artists use a certain kind of medium. I don't think that that's what the conversation is. I think it's about creating something that moves people. That is the way I look at art, more than about being a certain status or class. That's not really the way I look at it. I have some. So at all points, I'm always trying to mix the medium in. And then trying to think about areas. So oil paint's a lot of fun. Acrylic's a lot of fun if you want things to dry quicker, because you could have an approach where you use acrylics underneath to get like a lot of the details in, and then you come in and start using, you know, the oil paint on top of that. So here, because I had acrylic painting underneath, there's like all sorts of interesting textures going on before I'm now adding this. And basically this fox has a mouse friend that seems to be pulling his attention to something. So there's always a conversation going on with these characters. And I'm just trying to have fun with it and not be too precious. And learning how to mix the different colors in, it's interesting. I have a lot of different paints I've had here for some time that I'm trying to use up. So and sometimes if I can't see the character properly, I will go in and start adding the background, basically. That's what I start to do. So for foxes, the impression is that they have quite light area here at the front. So I'm just gonna see what colors I can mix. My palette is not organized at all. I'm gonna say that it's quite messy. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Then I'm just having fun with even the way that I'm moving my brush, just playing around. This is something that I've created myself, so I could kind of dictate what I want where. Okay. So it's just slowly building it. Sometimes I'll go in just straight in with the white. I think with oil paints, I just love the way that it mixes. It's just so interesting. So if I think that I've put like enough on areas, then what I do is I start to go into the background. But I'll just work on the front a little bit, on the fox for a while here, and try and get it to where I want it before I start thinking about so I didn't have anything set as to exactly how this fox would look. My other characters have clothing on, so I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do something with this guy. Sometimes when I'm looking at this and I've got the character starting to paint it, I don't always like the result. So I might change that tail. The tails are always an issue for me. And there's something else I've been doing recently, which is, well, first of all, I don't clean my brush too often. And number two, it is the mixing and the blending of other colors. Like that whole harmony thing of trying to get the colors to be very close to each other. But yeah, I'm trying to think what I think about this. I don't want this guy to look like a squirrel, so I have to be very careful. So I'm going to get rid of all of that area there. I'm just going to wash my brush. I could wipe it, but I'm not going to. Because you can, if it's still wet, I could try and wipe some of it off. So I'm going to maybe work on the background a little bit. And I was thinking I wanted to use yellow in the background of this because I hadn't really used much yellow on the other two yet. So I want to practice what that yellow might look like. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. So let's see. Bits of yellow coming up here. And sometimes I'll add that in the eye. And already that's just brought that out. And I'll do some more. And it's just to keep on going. And it's just coming to life, and it's exciting. It's just exciting using oil paint, actually. For me, I work quite quickly, so acrylic paint was the thing for me, and I mean, that whole drying aspect for people who don't like the fact that acrylic paint dries really quickly was never an issue for me, because also I use different ways to keep the acrylic dry as well. So I have like my little spritzers like this one, or there's this one as well. So this one was a Derwent one, so it's like a spritzer. You just spray to keep it moist when you have the acrylic paint. Or like this one you can get online from Amazon as well. Both of them you can get from Amazon, and they can keep your paint quite moist. And also another thing I heard from another artist I'm trying to remember her name. It'll come back to me at some point. But she basically, I think it was her and some other artists I've heard, if you have a big dollop of acrylic paint, it's more likely to stay moist for longer because it's a big mass than if you have um, basically a much smaller amount on your palette, because then it will dry faster. So this mouse here, I can see that it's gonna have a little bit of a gap. So I'm gonna have to mix this because the mouse is supposed to be white, so I can't let the, so its leg's gonna be there, its hand is coming onto the fox's snout, nose, and so I'm just gonna do that. So that leaves this space as I build the layers. It's gonna just show that it's gonna arch there. So yeah, these my lives, I kind of sometimes set them at half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. I think today I've set my clock to 45 minutes, so my alarm will go off at some point. But until then, I am gonna keep on painting. So there are other rules that people talk about of lean over, like your first layers should be thinner and all those kind of things. So I'm conscious of that because they talk of the drying time and things. And so I'm trying to work in very thin layers, like the whole time. I don't know how that will work out. So yeah, as I said, I painted some of this yesterday and it's mostly dry because of the drying medium probably. So you can start to see this character now build up. Sometimes I leave some of the colors from before, so it gets kind of like a mixed media element, which is more the style that I usually use. Like I like to use collages, like actual paper collages in my artwork as well. That's another technique I like to use. So I think my work tends to lean towards that very choppy look. I like that idea of blue in there, but it's the green. So as we said, we started off just with, you know, what looked like a very abstracted piece of paper, but I'd sketched out with a white line this character. And so now it was just about filling that in and then letting you see what I see or what I'm seeing in my head, which is something like this, basically. I'm gonna wash my brush off and go back into the fox. So the idea here, as I always do when two characters are looking in the same direction, is that there's something here that's captivated their attention. And I'm sure I'm gonna also make the mouse like one of its hands sticking out. It's like it's pointing at something. What I could have done, again, another idea is, because I'm just thinking about this as I'm going, is I could have a leaning kind of a branch and it's reaching out for like a cherry or something. There could be some drama that I put in this corner here. So those are all the ways to look at it. So when I'm looking at this fox, I always lean quite orange or is it red with my foxes. So I'm going to see if I can make some of that drama come out a little bit more. So mix some of this into this yellow here, but that's still a bit pink. It's not really what I was looking for, so I'm gonna go in and start bringing in some of these other yellows. This is more kind of the color. So there's some stuff going on outside. I'm wondering if it's gonna disturb what we're doing right now. But anyway, so it's the layers, and sometimes I will have to wait, so we'll see. And I'm trying to learn to move my brush quite quick, just doing different things. Let's see. tummy here, some reflective areas, because what will happen is when I'm letting this dry, I'll come back to it, so I don't have to do everything now. Just add a little drop again of the drying medium. I'm trying to make sure I put it in every time because it is making a difference. So trying to be patient. So I just add more white, start coming in here. It's still quite peachy. I want all those. So what I do is over time I start building the layers of the colors. But yeah, it's fun. I really want to put more of a white here on the, because foxes kind of have a notorious thing of having white. So I'm just mixing more and more, trying to get it lighter. I might do something here, which is a technique for playing around. So I might scratch into my oil paint and just not leave it just. It has a very interesting look, a bit more like a crocodile, so I might take that off. But I had it in my head and I wanted to see what it looks like. So as I'm going along, I'll keep adding different things into this. And see how it is. Lighter tool. So it's just building the layers. Let's see, let's go dark. Let's go dark. Mix this in here. It's not very dark, so let's add some black. This is more of a gray brown now. So I'm trying to, no, it's not doing what I want it to do. I wanted it a bit darker down here. So if I feel like I have gone far enough with my colors, I will give it a break and let this dry. So I'm trying to introduce this. And get this area darker. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. Just seeing little flecks here of paint. I don't want those in dry paint. But you can see the difference on that. The reflections on it as well. But it has changed a lot. I'm thinking I want to go and add some more to the mouse, so I'm going to use my smaller brush. Let's see if I wash some of this off. Smaller brush to get some of this detail for the little mouse. Had some green on that. Let's see, still green. Right, let's see. My mouse, mix in some of this. A little droplet from the, sometimes I'll just mix in another color because it has already got some of that dry medium in it, so I just basically use that. That's like a green, a bit more white. I could make it like there's a bit of grey going on because it can have shadows and things, so. But if I really want it to be white, I can be building up the layers and it'll get more and more white. Right, let's see, add in little details. A bit of pink onto his nose. It's quite red. So you can always take some off. Some in its paws. I'm just transferring some of this. And let's see. Add in more white and then it just keeps on changing the little character. There, someone's cutting their grass. There's always timing, isn't it? So just kind of build your layers. It's fun. It's so much fun. Right, and add in like a little dot here. Gonna add a little gray on the nose. Add a little bit on the mouth to try and get some of like detail. So the tails are usually actually like a peachy color. So let's see. So you can see that building up there. I'm trying to think where else to use this. For his own hands. So it's all about now just adding the shadows. Shadows and shadows into areas. I feel like I should cut this short because of the lawnmower going on outside. So I think I'll do that. But yeah, thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoyed this actual time we spent doing this because it was fun. And I'll see you in the next one, and we will probably do some more painting on this oil ones again together because it's so much fun. Just go ahead and practice yourself. Just order it like a small pack, even if it's just the primary colors of the oil paint, and mix them like this and have some fun. I'm probably gonna go and make lunch for my son, but then I'll come back and still keep going with this as well. And then yeah, and continue to have some more fun. So it's a quick Wednesday live this time round. I'm fully aware of grass cutting going on, so yeah, there's things that are not controlled by me. So yeah, but I really love that. And as I said, it was from my sketches. Just, you know, you have an idea and then you put it down and you start building on it. So I would put more detail as the layers dried, and the eye of the mouse, and just have a lot of fun with it. But it looks really cute, and yeah, that's what I thought I would share today. So if you've not painted with oil paint yourself, do go ahead and you can find out more about my work on my website, www.beatriceajayi.com. I do have some of these cuties as well for sale, and so if you see anything you like on my website, or if you're thinking about anything I'm working on, let me know. And I've recently added some downloadables as well of different work that I'm doing, but also I do tutorials. So if you're interested in learning to do not necessarily even these characterized, stylized pieces like I do, you can see what else is on my site, and we can work together to using things. If it's landscapes, whatever it is, just let me know and we'll get on with that. So I will see you next Wednesday. Also, I have my kind of through the week share that I do on Fridays, that my weekly vlog. So yeah, look forward to that as well. But yeah, this was fun and I really enjoyed creating this one, and I will still continue working on these guys as well. But this is such a lively one because I just love using yellow, to be honest. But when I put the new layers on this, it will be as kind of like as cheery as this, because I could change the background for these. They don't have to be the colors they are. So yeah, really cute fox in the making. And as I said as well, my name is Beatrice Ajayi. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. And please do have fun sketching whatever you sketch and painting it and having a lot of fun creating, because being creative really helps with our mental health as well. I feel for me, it really helps me a lot to just be able to lose time doing something else that you shouldn't be worrying about and thinking that, you know, you have to have it a specific way. You don't have to share it with anyone. You can just do it and practice yourself. And the more you do it, by the time you look back years later, you see how far you've come. Because I definitely did not come out the womb doing this. This has been a long time in the making. So yeah, I will see you next Wednesday and have the best day. Bye.